good. Unfortunate news, obviously, about Alfonso. Can you fill us in on what happened, and is there any word on the extent of the injury?
Yeah, just very, very innocuous. He was in a small-sided game, and he rode a tackle, and he was sort of walking backwards, complaining about the physicality or something had happened. And as he was walking backwards, he just went over on his ankle. So it's just a bit of a twist. But obviously with those things, it's sometimes it can be a while, and sometimes it's a quick return. Unfortunately, you know, he'll be a little bit longer than we'd hoped for the tournament. And for him, he's got some big priorities, one being September with World Cup qualification, and obviously two being back at his club, going through an intensive rehabilitation to be back ready for the start of his season. So it's disappointing, really is, particularly the way it happened, but at the same time, hopefully it opens the door for somebody else to grab the limelight.
John Molinaro.
Thank you. Hey, John, how are you? Hope things are well. Thanks for taking the time to speak to us. I just wanted to ask you about sort of Martinique, you know, what you've made. Obviously, you had you know them from the last tournament, but what are you expecting from them on Sunday? And, you know, give us a tactical sort of evaluation if you can.
Yeah, they're a good team. They are a good team. They've strengthened, I think, in the right areas. They've included Manu Riviere, who has had Premier League experience, Serie A experience, and they've included him in that area that I thought in the last game they were lacking a goal scorer. And certainly they had some good moments against Canada in the first half, against what I would say was a makeshift back four with Kay at left back and Atiba at centre back. But yeah, they had some good opportunities, and I think they've strengthened in the right areas. So, you know, when you look at that, they've got a genuine goal threat. He scored on his debut against Honduras with a 1-1 tie. So we know how hard that is to do in CONCACAF as well. So we're going to have to be on our game and take care of that threat and be very aware of it. But at the same time, sort of recognize this is a tournament. Like, anything can happen in tournaments, and we know they're going to be really up for it, and so are our players. So all in all, if you're looking for a tactical breakdown, I'm not going to go too much into that detail now, other than, you know, Martinique are a strong opponent here. And last Gold Cup, outside of the first game, they were able to show they could score two goals against Mexico, taking them to a 3-2 narrow loss. So yeah, it's going to be tough, and every opening game is. So we'll get after it and hopefully get the right result.
Derek Van Diest.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Hey, Derek.
Just want to ask you about, I guess, going into this tournament. Do you go into this tournament kind of trying to manage things with an eye on the September qualifiers, or are you just solely focused on this tournament at all and not worrying about the qualifiers in September?
Yeah, I think the importance of the qualifiers are at that sort of level where you cannot not think about them. You know, as a coach, strategically in the back of the mind, some of the selections coming into this squad were about that qualifying pathway. But you know, the promise to the players here is that we're here to compete in a Gold Cup. So that stuff there is the thing that I've got to think about and have in the back of my mind. The players don't. They're very clear. It's about, you know, building on that winning mindset to grow through this tournament, which will help us, you know, as we head towards those September matches. But you know, the key mantra is just one game at a time. One game. Let's enjoy every game. Martinique, Haiti, USA, they're all going to be different. They're all got different challenges. You know, different players will get experiences in them, but stay in the moment. One game, let's clean that one off. Next game, clean it off and move on. And hopefully we can sort of clean off 5 games and the guys stay present in a long long tournament. And at the end of that, if we've been successful, you know, it really puts us with a great foundation going into September, knowing that, you know, we were able to progress without Johnny David, Alphonso Davies, Tiba Hutchinson, Scott Arfield, Scott Kennedy. You know, it's there's a lot of benefits, I think, coming out of this opportunity for September, but also for the fans back home in Canada who are going to have a good summer of football.
We'll continue with Josh Clocker.
Yeah, hi, John. With Io joining the squad, I was hoping you could tell me, what is it about him as a player and a person that made him such an important part of this program now and this program in the future that made you want to continue what seemed like a few years of kind of trying to get him on the squad?
Yeah, I think he's part of this young generation. People talk about a golden generation, but it can only be golden if in the matches we accomplish what we feel we can accomplish, and we've just started that process. And I think when you look at Io, he could be part of that generation, could be part of a group that qualifies for 2022 and then plays in a home World Cup. And I think when you look at it, it was the goals he scored, the type of goals he scored. It was the range of his play. I mean, you look at him; he's a strong, powerful player, but he knows those gaps. He knows how to time his movement in front and behind. And when I worked with him, you know, I showed him those clips. I showed him the profile that I thought was how he could help our team and where I felt he might fit into the team on this journey, and how he could bring those strengths and become more flexible than maybe what we'd seen him at his club. So, you know, I think that to me was the exciting thing about him. I think he's got a lot of growth in him, and I can see when he plays with Pozuelo, better players, he can take his standard to that next level. So I think coming in to this tournament, it's a learning opportunity for me to really understand them, because you don't know people until you work with them under pressure, under expectation, scrutiny, consequence, and then even that's a journey when you're asking ordinary young men to perform in extraordinary situations. Then you learn about them. So, you know, this tournament, Josh, is for me a chance to really get to know Io, to put him in some moments where, you know, we'll find out, you know, what his level is and what his potential is in this red shirt.
We'll continue with Thomas Neff.
Hi, John. Hope you're well. You have until 24 hours before the opening match against Martinique to make a replacement for Alphonso Davies. Will you be making a replacement? Thanks so much, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, Thomas. Yeah, good question. You know, we held off on Alphonso for as long as we possibly could. That might have hurt us a bit, but yeah, I think you all know we've got good depth in the rosters outside of the roster that was lined up here. But I think you all understand the complexity as well in this time. You know, players, the train has left the station here. You know, there's a group of guys that are bought in and committed and training within our culture, within our system. And adding people at this time, while it's not a bad idea, it's not something that's absolutely necessary given what I've seen. So we're in a process now of speaking to some players. They've got club situations, whether it's pre-seasons, they've already immersed themselves in. Some MLS players have got a lot of key games where they're either going to be here and when the tournament starts, training in tournament mode, which is different to them being in their club environment. So at this moment, I'm toying with that decision of naming a player, but allowing them to stay at their club environment and, you know, stay playing matches. And if we get to a sort of crisis point, you know, bringing that player in. I think that's always the hardest thing for players, that, you know, when you're coming in and you're the 23rd man and we've got good depth already in our squad, you know, sometimes it's better to be at your club, you know, training competitively every day rather than recovering with a team that have just played a lot of games in a short period of time. So I think we'll go down that line, and it's still up for discussion at this stage. We've got a couple hours left, and I'm hoping to get out of this press conference pretty quickly, just to, tie everything up.
We'll take 2 more questions. John Molinaro.
Thank you. John, when you look at sort of, the group as a whole, how would you break it down? I mean, obviously you have, you have history with all these teams, but what would you say is, the key for Canada to, progress beyond the group?
Well, I think it starts tomorrow, John. I think the key mindset we've been forming is just, that consistency in the habits on and off the field that took them through to the World Cup qualification next stage. Regardless of how people view opponents, those were tough matches in their own ways. And I think the group really embraced preparing diligently for every match, and the intensity in the training that for me was replicated on the field. Those sort of habits to ensure that we have consistency there, which will be the antidote to complacency. And that's the biggest fear. You come into this tournament after riding a bit of a high a couple of weeks ago, and you expect things to happen. Those things just don't happen. And back to just doing the dirty work on the pitch, the recovery runs, the body on the line, the tracking back, the staying tight in key moments on the field. All of those things are the things that people don't really see, but actually lead to winning. And, bringing that to the front of the minds of the players. And, when they've set their outcomes and goals for this game, right at the core of it is just getting back to that identity and making sure we get humble again, we get gritty, and we're super hungry going into this match. And that's the first game. And then the second game, Haiti, you're going to come out on a bit of a revenge mission. They're going to have the bit between their teeth, and you've got to match intensity with Haiti. That's going to be a tough match. We've got to get the mindset right for that game. Tactically, I think we've got the talent to be a real threat. But mentally, I think they're going to have something that little bit more to get them motivated for this game. So we're going to have to match that. And then the US, need I say more? It's every game here is a cup final, as the Sam Piet said, but that's our Derby Cup final. I mean, that's a massive game for us. And every man will want to play it. You'll see the training intensity ramp up the 2 days before, because they'll want to be able to pull the shirt on in that match. So, 3 different games, but, 3 games where we've just got to get back to where we were and then take it to the next level. And that's been the mantra. Get back to where we were, take it to the next level.
Take one last question with Neil Davidson.
Thank you. John, you've got a big match tomorrow. As you know, there's another big match. Will you be able to fit the Euro final into your schedule?
No, these are the sacrifices, eh? These are the sacrifices as coaches. My son, I just missed him play today. And yeah, this is what you've got to sacrifice. Unfortunately, my focus has to be on the game. At that time, I'm in my nap time. It's about a 45-minute sleep while that game is kicking off. So, and then straight from there, I'm off preparing for my meeting and into the meeting. So, no, I won't see it come home if it does come home. But ultimately, my home's Canada now, and we're here to bring football home to this country.
Okay, Coach, we'll have one last question with Moses Waldo.
Hi, Coach. Not to make harp on this point with Alphonso Davies, you mentioned it plenty of times, but just in terms of the strategies going forward, are you going to have to be a little more creative going with the matches as you further along into this competition?
Look, I think we built, you know, five clean sheets, and I think that's the starting point for Canada at this moment, to keep building in that space. I think there is creativity in this team, and you know, you're never guaranteed your big players in all the big games. You know, you'll see a lot of teams that suffer this way. I mean, the Danes with Eriksson, you know, who'd have ever predicted that happening? And you know, this is a good moment for us. You know, I've said to the leadership group, let's embrace it. We embrace this moment. I mean, if you look at our stats, Alfonso, you know, equates for 50% of our final acts, crosses, shots, attacking quarter entries. He does equate for a lot of our attacking processes. And you know, when you lose that, like you've said there, you know, you're going to have to be more creative with some of the tactical elements. But you know, hopefully Tejan Buchanan gets a chance now to step into the limelight. You know, players like Tyler Pasha could get that opportunity to, you know, be the name of the tournament. So again, with where this Gold Cup's placed right next to the World Cup qualifiers, you know, certainly in my mind, I keep saying to the players, like, enjoy this tournament, enjoy it. The World Cup qualifiers is going to be the biggest thing that biggest mountain we've got to climb. And the Gold Cup is something we need to enjoy and, you know, embrace the moments. Fonzie's not here, and embrace that. You know, Theo Corbin, I'll get ready. You know, those guys that have been waiting for those moments. So yeah, it could be an exciting tournament for us, and certainly has to take us out of our comfort zones and be ready, you know, to play matches without Alfonso Davies on the pitch.
Coach, thank you so much. With this, we'll conclude the first part of the press conference. Now we'd like to invite player Steven Vittoria.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
We'll start with the question of Neil Davidson.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Stephen. Thank you for taking the time to speak to us. I hope you're well.
Good afternoon. Likewise.
Stephen, the team has had a good run of late in World Cup qualifying. Now you're in a tournament mode. What's the mood going into tomorrow's game against Martinique?
We're confident, but well aware of this different moment. We don't want to get too caught up in what we just achieved. It was nice, but now we turn the page and focus on this Gold Cup. We're excited, we're confident, but also well aware of the difficulties that'll be along the road. And we just want to start off strong tomorrow evening.
Joshua Coakley, go ahead.
Hi, Stephen. I wanted to ask you about Ayo Akinola with him in the group. I'm just curious, you as a center back, you know, playing small-sided games and having to defend against him in training sessions. How does from your perspective, how does the complexity of Canada's attack change with Ayo now?
No, it's another really good player that's here to help. It's exciting to have him in as well. And we're happy. It's not just him, you know. We have a strong group, and he definitely comes in to help that group. And we're excited and we're confident, and to get the job done starting tomorrow.
Derek Van Diest.
Hey, Steven, how you doing? I just wanted to ask you about the importance of this tournament as a sense of getting the team to get more games together before September and play some meaningful and important games in this tournament. I guess how important is it to kind of get as many games out of this tournament as you can, so you get to play together as often as you can as a team before you get to play those important World Cup qualifiers in September?
Yeah, I understand your question. However, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. This is, you know, a single competition in itself. We want to do well, go as far as we can in this Gold Cup, starting tomorrow. And then obviously we know that'll build in hopefully nicely with a lot of games until September. And looking at it that way, it's good for the group. We'll take as much time as we can to use to our benefit, and just to continue growing and continue this road that we've been on.
John Molinaro.
Hi, Stephen. John told us about the importance of not looking ahead, about having to take this tournament one game at a time. So in that regard, when you look ahead to Martinique tomorrow, what are you expecting from them? I mean, what kind of proposition do the Martiniques pose Canada in this game?
Our mindset and our attitude is the same and very similar to past games. We respect fully Martinique, but our focus is on us, on our potential, and always wanting to raise that bar a little bit. And that's the attitude that we'll be entering the game tomorrow, and doing what we need to do to get that win. Never disrespecting nobody. We know we're gonna have challenges in front of us, but however, controlling what we can, and that's within our group and the work that we're gonna put in.
Tristan Damours.
Hey, Stephen, about Martinique and about, respecting opposition. This is a squad that, mainly has more unknown players, but, a guy like Riviere really stands out with his Premier League experience. Gauging from the fact that you're off a World Cup qualifying where you played teams like Suriname that has like a similar profile, is that something the team has learned from in order to take on a team like Martinique?
No, definitely, and we have that mindset that we can never underestimate nobody, because when we do, that's when the problems arrive more consistently. But that's not our focus. Our focus is on us, and as I said, not to be repeating myself, maximum respect with Martinique, as we will next with Haiti and in the States as well. And our focus is on what we can do and how we can get better and quickly. And like I said, just raise that bar and on top of wins. That's our focus, starting tomorrow and then the next few days of the tournament.
Any other question for Stephen? Okay, everyone, Stephen, thank you so much for your time. I thank you to all media members for your participation. Next press conference will start at 4:15. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Take care.
Good evening, Mario. Gayle from Carisport. I hope you're fine. You're doing. Small question. It's been 1 week, 2 weeks that you're in the United States. How is your group feeling, and how are you feeling you? Certain analysts say it's David against Goliath. How do you feel with this opening match? Good evening, Gayle. It's been 10 days that we arrived in Kansas City. We're working. It's good for us. We are able to better know each other because we haven't worked much together. The perspective of David against Goliath is good, but sometimes David was able to do many things. So we put ourselves in this perspective. We accept what is said, but we're going to play really and to make. And we know that Canadian team has a good collective team and with individualities, but we're here to position ourselves and to work. Emric Larcher. Yes, Mario, I hope you can hear me. Hello, good evening to all. What is your message that you would like to give to the Martinique supporters, fans, before the match? The message that I have for those fans is encouraging message. We needed it. It was complicated
it's
for us.
difficult for us.
Preparation was, it was complicated for
The
the
health context
sanitary
has been
health
difficult for us.
wise. We to get
It's
out to support us as
allowed us
much, and we will give our
to
best
get together.
in the
And
field.
I
That's
think
the characteristic of this
we
team
have
for a
this
while, for a few
characteristic.
years now. Even before I
We're going to
came
give
here, they
100%.
give the best of themselves. We
We
owe it
want
to ourselves
to
to do
give
it, to
100%.
give the best,
We
to
want to
represent
focus,
with pride Martinique.
represent Martinique, and each time we play, we have to give a good image of our country. Hey, Mario, well, let's use this world platform to put things in context. It's been more than 10 days that you've had access to the training grounds and the installation, the facilities in the US, the infrastructures that you have in the US. How do they compare to the ones that you have on a daily basis in Martinique? Well, it's the same facilities. We've fought to get good facilities. We've worked a lot to get lots of things on site in Martinique. But if we had the good facilities, 3/4 of players wouldn't be playing for us because the clubs would be refusing to be released. So we need to have high-level facilities so that we have a level that's not exceptional but usual for us. So I think it's something that we needed to have.
We'd like to invite player Sebastian Cretinois. Thank you.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
We'll start with the question of Gayle.
Bonjour Sébastien, Gayle de Carré.
Salut Sébastien, Gayle from Sport. It's a pleasure to be with you. Sébastien, tell us a little bit about this group and the atmosphere, the Gold Cup, knowing that it's not your first Gold Cup. What does this mean for you, for the others, for the group? How does it work out? Well, the group is top. We work, we're doing super well. We've been working for several days to be ready for Gold Cup. True, we are in a specific context in this case, and we all know how it's been. But it's always been very important for us to do better than previous editions. So the target for us is to try to get most of what we can out of this group and represent Martinique as best as we can. Sébastien, Emeric here. What message do you have for the fans who are been following us for a good moment before this game against Canada? Well, asking them to be there for this team. We have good quality players. They know what we've been through football-wise during the year, but this group is ready. We're ready to defend the colors of this beautiful country. We ask them to support us, to be with us till the end of this competition. Gayle? Sébastien, Canada, that's not a novelty, Canada, Martinique. How do you see this opening game? It's just a football game, 11v11. We know that Canada has a beautiful team with lots of quality players. with a very good quality of game. But we have very good players. We also have aces, and we have things to show. We've been working hard. We're going to do the best we can to be at level.
Okay, Gayle, one last question for you.
This is the last question, if you don't mind. Good luck, first of all, for this game. And you will be representing Martinique with all you can.
Thank you so much. With this, we conclude the press conference with Team Martinique. Thank you so much to all MIA members for your participation.